Alex Jones is back, and this is quite a video here, man. He's got a little bit of bragging to do for all of us, and you're going to see why.
Guess what? You must have made the donor mad. I don't know who they are, where they are. They could be in Japan, could be in the U.S., could be who knows where. But I appreciate them. Whoever they are bought hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin at a lower price back in 2016, never spent any of them, and is now giving us $1 million of Bitcoin. And you must have upset them, whoever they are, because, sorry to the left and the globalist, they gave us $1 million more on Saturday. Let me break that for you while you sit there and say we're covering it all up and hiding it in bank accounts and all this crap.
There was very detailed reporting that he indeed was shuffling money around into shell companies to make sure that with the litigation, he doesn't have to pay out more money. Like, if you hide the money in some weird semi-legal ways, then he might not have to pay out as much because his assets won't be as much. That was the gist of it. So he's trying to act like that wasn't real. That was definitely a real story. There was a lot of detail in there. But somebody gave him, it was either $1 million or it sounded like he may have said at one point $1 million, then another $1 million came in. Woo! Imagine donating $1 million or $2 million to Alex Jones.
So, we no longer have $3 million in the company, barely enough to make payroll and operate and buy product. We now have $5 million. And guess what? You must have made the donor mad. I don't know who that.
Wow. I mean, there was that video. We covered it on our show of Alex during the litigation begging, quote, big donors to give him money. So understand something. Despite everything that went on and all the social media bans, he was never really in financial trouble because he was absolutely swimming in cash that he made over the years from, I'm sure, revenue streams that were at one point on YouTube and elsewhere, but mostly from his InfoWars store where he sells like everything. He sells like, merchandise, clothes and shit. He was selling these super questionable supplements, then there's been deep dives on those supplements, and of course they're bogus and they're trash. But he made, I don't remember the dollar amount, but it was like tens of millions of dollars from in a single year from his InfoWars store. And so I'm sure he's got a bunch of that money stashed away in other places. Even before he did the shuffling during the litigation, I'm sure he had done some shuffling before. So financially, it depends what happens with the court here and how much they fine him or whatever for the civil lawsuit to pay these people for the Sandy Hook stuff. But I'm sure he's fine. And now you got an anonymous donor giving him $1 million or $2 million. I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's watch from the beginning again. It sounds like he says he gives $1 million, and then he gave another $1 million. So
guess what? You must have made the donor mad. I don't know who they are, where they are. They could be in Japan, could be in the U.S., could be who knows where. But I appreciate them. Whoever they are bought hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin at a lower price back in 2016, never spent any of them, and is now giving us $1 million of Bitcoin. And you must have upset them, whoever they are, because, sorry to the left and the globalist, they gave us $1 million more on Saturday.
Yeah.
Let me break that for you.
So somebody gave him $2 million. Why does it happen to Alex Jones? Why can't somebody give me $1 million? I'm over here trying to do a good show and put out positive ideas and break down the news in a way that I think is fair and objective and nuanced. And I've never woken up to a fucking $1 million donation. What the fuck? But he gets one? The guy who's like, the Sandy Hook's an inside job and it's fake. And there's crisis actors and shit. That guy gets $1 million. There's no justice in this world, y'all. There's no justice in this world. You know what? Fuck the $1 million, but if you guys can give me a couple bucks on Patreon, I would really appreciate that. Just a couple bucks a month is all I ask. The link is in the video description box below. Shameless ass plug, but if he's getting $1 million from a random ass donor, you could hook a brother up with like $2 or $5 or $7 or some shit on Patreon. Thank you to everybody who already is a donor on Patreon. I really appreciate you and I love you. And the show wouldn't be possible without you guys. But man, I'm floored. And I'm super butthurt. Why? Why him? What the fuck? There's so many hosts out there doing a decent job. There's so many people working regular jobs. At least I get to do what I love for a living. There's so many people doing decent, like, regular jobs Nobody ever gave them $1 million. Like, this guy, Alex Jones, got $1 million, $2 million from somebody. I'm telling you guys, it's advocating for left economic ideas. Nobody wants to give you big money because you're like, hey, I think you should get taxed more, bro. And nobody with a lot of money is like, I want to give that guy money. They're like, fuck that guy. Let's dig him in the algorithm, hide him in the algorithm somewhere so nobody sees his shit. Anyway, there you go. I mean, I don't have much commentary on this other than the fact that this is fucking wild. This is wild. I'm astonished. Somebody out there is a huge Alex Jones fan. And it was a conversation I've had with myself before of like, what percentage of Alex Jones viewers are watching it for like performance art reasons? Like they think it's funny and they're just like, they like the character even though they don't agree with much of what he says at all. And what percentage are actually like, no, this guy's giving us the straight dope, dog. This guy's giving us the truth. He's spitting facts. I don't know the answer to that, but I would be terrified if at least 30% of his audience wasn't watching him to like laugh and enjoy the performance art. You know what I'm saying? Like at least 30%. But I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. Matter of fact, put that in the comment section. What percentage do you guys think of his audience is watching him for the lols? Is it 50-50? Is it 90% are serious, 10% for the lols? I don't know. But obviously the person who donated $2 million, they're not watching him for the lols. They think he's the last honest man on the planet. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.